Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating concept from our source material called the architecture of innovation beyond blind obedience. Now, if you're someone who's always felt like a bit of a misfit, the person who just can't seem to stop asking why when everyone else just nods and goes along, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to figure out exactly why you do that. Okay, let's dive into this. The source material hits us right out of the gate with this stark reality. Most people follow the crowd because it's easier. But if you find yourself constantly asking why about rules or traditions, your brain is wired to innovate, not just obey. Think about it. Following the crowd, it takes literally zero energy. It's the default setting. But if you're the kind of person who constantly questions everyday rules, well, you aren't just being difficult. You're actually triggering a deeply ingrained mechanism in your brain that is specifically geared toward progress. And this brilliantly illustrates that divide. Look, following the crowd is the path of least resistance. It is safe, it is predictable. You wake up, you do what you were told, you don't ask questions, you go to sleep, repeat. But breaking away, constantly asking why about rules or traditions, that is an entirely different way of operating. It's dynamic. It requires you to actively break things apart just to see how they tick, fundamentally refusing to accept just because is a valid answer. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the research gives a formal name to this specific behavior. They call it the complexity habit. It's defined as the cognitive trait of smart people who deeply question traditions and rules to satisfy a constant need to understand the underlying mechanics of their environment. So this takes your instinct to question and it elevates it from mere insubordination into a formalized, bona fide psychological advantage. You know that friction you feel when someone hands you a totally pointless rule? That's not you just being stubborn. That is your complexity habit actively trying to make sense of a flawed system. Notice that specific phrase right there, the constant need to understand. You see, society very often rewards compliance, sure, but history entirely rewards the questioners. When you absolutely refuse to blindly accept a tradition, you aren't just tearing down old structures for the fun of it. You are actively searching for the blueprints so you can build something infinitely better. This relentless search for the why, it's the precise dividing line that separates true innovators from the ordinary crowd.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because this habit isn't just random. It follows a very clear, structured progression. Step 1 is the catalyst. You encounter a boundary and you deeply question it. Instead of just stopping because there's a wall, you poke at it. Then comes step 2, the critical analysis phase. This is where you demand logic and seek to fully understand the why. And man, that positions you perfectly for step 3, achieving true innovation and boundary breaking. Because once you understand the flawed why of the old way, that's when you can actually invent the new way. So the crucial point is, when you stack all these behaviors together, you get what's called the innovator's advantage. Avoiding blind obedience, deeply questioning traditions, seeking the why, and breaking those boundaries, they all compound to create serious momentum. That friction you experience when clashing with an illogical tradition, that is the very engine of innovation. Without that friction, there is no heat, there is no energy, and there's absolutely no forward movement. The folks who possess this advantage are quite literally the architects of our future. If you've spent your life feeling a little, out of step with the crowd, simply because you had to ask just one more question, remember how you're truly wired. Your complexity habit isn't a burden, it is a profound cognitive gift. You aren't broken just because you don't fit smoothly into the mold of blind obedience. No, you are built for a much different, much larger purpose. You, my friend, are built to push things forward. And so, the architecture of innovation ultimately relies on a single choice. Will you simply follow the crowd because it's easier? Or will you actively use your complexity habit to ask why and break those boundaries? The next time you're faced with an outdated tradition or a totally pointless rule, recognize the incredible cognitive opportunity sitting right in front of you. Embrace your inner boundary breaker, ask why, and let's see what you can build.